My name is Mallory. I'm an account manager here at Medaptus. I serve as our customer's main point of contact and an advocate, helping ensure your needs are represented, and also supporting you in adopting and expanding the use of your Medaptus solutions. I've been with Medaptus for about a year. I'm one of the newer ones, and I'm coming from another software company within our ownership group, Valeris, and I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. I'll hand it over to Jacqueline to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Corbett. I am the assigned product manager here at Medaptus. I've been with Medaptus for over 12 years and have worked in all areas of the company, from implementing the software to running the support team, to managing our releases, and now working in the R&D team managing the assigned product. My main focus is bringing the customer needs and wants into the product. So I try to be as involved as possible with all of the customer experience in Assign. So don't be surprised if you see me respond to your support email, if I'm on the calls during your implementations, or if I come on site to get feedback about our products.
Thanks so much, Jacqueline. And as we mentioned, today's focus is on one of the key features in this new release, the Hospital Medicine Analytics Dashboard. There I go again, second time. The dashboard is available and will be enabled on a customer by customer basis so that we can partner closely with each team as they begin using it. For our agenda today, we'll start with a bit of the context around why we built this dashboard. Then we're going to walk through an overview and deep dive into the 4 reports. We'll also cover the rollout in a little bit more detail and wrap up with some time for questions and a look at what's coming next. So with that, I'll jump into sort of setting the stage. I think it's important to highlight that this dashboard was built as sort of a first step toward extending the value that Assign already provides, helping programs better understand and act on the data within their daily assignment process. Medaptus Assign remains the only dedicated assignment solution in the marketplace, which gives us a unique opportunity and responsibility to keep advancing how assignment management supports hospice programs. And as a result, of course, we want providers to be able to focus on patient care. So something important to call out, we've been fortunate and thankful for the direction from our customer advisory board as we develop this release. Their input really helps shape what you'll see today and ensured we focused on the areas that matter most to hospitalist teams. We know that most teams might have access to some of this data in their EHR or other systems, but what's often missing is a quick, meaningful view into assignment-specific performance, something that connects directly to the work you're doing daily in Assign. And again, our goal with this release isn't to replace any source of truth or replace you looking in your EHR. It's to make Assign more useful in helping you understand what's happening rather than just managing it on a daily basis. The first iteration here is pretty simple, but it really opens the door for what's possible. For us, that's things like greater visibility, efficiency, and even the opportunity to act on some of the trends as they emerge. So I think it's important to call out that this release for us really reflects something bigger. It's our commitment to advancing the Assign platform. We're really eager to continue building where there are unmet needs and partnering closely with our customers to shape where we go next. Our goal is to make the assignment management smarter and more efficient, and ultimately we want to see the ripple effect of improved provider satisfaction, care coordination, and even length of stay. So you might notice that we're often repeating something like, we want your feedback. It's very important to get your feedback as we walk through this today and in other conversations. And this is because your insights will directly guide how we continue to build on this foundation. So now we'll kind of get into the meat of it, where Jacqueline does a lot of the heavy lifting. We're going to demo the analytics dashboard. So while Jacqueline pulls this up to share her screen, the flow here is I'll kind of start by introducing each report that we're going to show you, and Jacqueline will give you more of the details and actually navigate on the report itself. Okay, so it looks like we're ready. So we're going to start on the top left with the morning assignment counts. This shows the hospital medicine census, the total number of patients on service each morning. I'll pass it to Jacqueline just to have navigate through it a little bit more. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Yeah. So in looking at this chart, what we're looking at is each bar that you're seeing is showing you the number of patients assigned for that date. As you hover over each bar, you get that specific date and the assignment number. So you can see on the 11th, we had 146 assignments. We also have this yellow bar here that will show you the average census across the time period that you have selected. Why this is important is this gives you a quick visual to spot patterns in your patient volume, like whether or not your census number is holding steady, whether it's trending up, whether it's trending down. I like this graph when you're looking at a little bit more data to really see those trends. And you can do that by using, we have a quick date option. So you can quickly go to your month to date, quarter to date, year to date, or obviously you can just make a custom date range as well. And what this is going to show you is, again, just a bigger range of data, and this is where you're going to really spot those trends. So for example, you can see like we have a spike here in early July, and that could indicate a seasonal increase, or maybe there's a shorter discharge cycle. Having this data really gives you the ability to prepare for these types of trending fluctuations.
Thanks so much, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. We'll move to the top right. We're going to look at admissions and discharges. These are the drivers of these daily volumes. So again, I'll pass it over to Jacqueline to explain more about this report.
Yeah. So this graph provides daily trends of your admissions and discharges across your hospital medicine program. What I really like about this visual is that it overlays both of those metrics. So you can immediately see if your patient throughput is balanced, whether or not your discharge volumes are keeping pace with your admissions. And this also will help your team monitor your bed utilization and patient flow.
And Jacqueline, can you explain what the provider filter adds to this view and how customers might use it?
Yeah. So what you're seeing is it's going to default to all providers again. So this is showing you your entire hospitalist medicine program, like your whole group's admissions and discharges. But we have also added the individual provider filter, and that lets you break the same admissions and discharges trends like down by the provider you have selected. So you can see how each team member, how that information is trending over time. Again, great for spotting patterns. You can see like the variation in the workload and patient flow between the different providers. This is good for identifying who's managing higher admission volumes, or if one provider's discharge rate is consistently higher than others.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Already on to the bottom left-hand graph, the average patients per provider. This graph connects the census, your group's overall workload and staffing levels, helping you to see if there's a balance there. It's an important one because, as you know, the output is really speaking to the correlation between provider satisfaction and quality of care. I'll pass it to Jacqueline to talk in more detail here again.
Yeah. Mirroring what Mallory said, this graph is really great. It brings that census and staffing information together on one graph. You can see your daily census alongside how many providers that you have on that day scheduled to round. We're showing you what the average patient per provider are for that day as well. it's a really good visual to help assess whether your staffing levels are keeping pace with your patient volume, right? So you're wanting to see those peaks and valleys follow each other and be similar across all the different lines on this chart. So to go a little deeper, you have your assigned patients. So for example, we have 158 patients. You have your 9 providers who are on schedule that day. And then for the assignments, you would have that average of 17.6 patients per provider. We've also included the yellow bar to represent that census average. And the average is going to be just based upon whatever date range you happen to have selected. So I have 2 months selected. So this is giving me that census average for those 2 months. We also have given you the ability, depending on what type of data you are looking at on this graph, to add and remove the different data points with these legend buttons at the bottom.
Thanks, Jacqueline. I really agree with you that that instead of looking at the census and coverage separately, you can see exactly how they move together, which does really help ensure that teams are staffed appropriately for patient demand.
Yeah, exactly. This is an important one for, I think, assessing workload fairness, monitoring your provider to patient ratios, and identifying any gaps that you have in staffing.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
And this last chart, the assigned providers per hospitalization focuses on continuity of care. So that's how many unique providers a patient is seeing during their stay. That consistency impacts communication, satisfaction, and overall outcomes. So it's a helpful view of patient-provider stability. Jacqueline, I'll let you go ahead and speak in more detail here.
Yeah. As many of you have probably experienced, too many handoffs can potentially turn into a game of telephone where that important patient information can get miscommunicated. So this graph really helps show that continuity and kind of how your group is doing with that. So each of these bars is representing the number of attending providers that saw a patient during their hospitalization. So that is over here. So we have 1 provider, 2 providers, 3 providers. So what you want to see is the majority of your information down on the fewer providers, right, on your 1s and 2s. This means stronger continuity and smoother handoffs. If you start seeing patients with 3 and more providers, you're probably also seeing your length of stay kind of starting to trend upwards. For example, if we do a download of this report, let me pull that over here on my screen. Give me a second. Oh. So you can see that the hospitalizations just involving having 1 or 2 providers seeing a patient during their hospitalization, their length of stay is very close, a day apart. And then as soon as you get up to 3+ providers, that length of stay is almost doubling. So again, what you're looking for on this chart is that majority being on your 1 and 2 provider count. And that will really help show how your continuity of care is going.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Can you also oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you tell us about that category view checkbox that I'm seeing there?
Yes, yes. So again, you'll notice we do have more than 5 providers, depending on your data, seeing a patient during their full hospitalization. Visually, we have chosen to roll up those smaller amounts when you get above 5 to see them in full so you can get that data. If you uncheck that category view, it's just going to break those out so you can see what they actually are individually.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that.
Sure.
So we'll move back to our PowerPoint momentarily here and talk about access and sort of next steps. The Assign dashboard, as I mentioned, is officially released and will be enabled to customers individually so that we can partner directly with each team. This will give us the chance to learn from how you're using it and what you may have tried changing as a result of the story the data tells you. We also want to understand what's more valuable and what you might need next.
Yeah, so once this is live for your site, we are going to ask for some feedback. We'll probably reach out to you in about a month to see how this is fitting into your workflow, what's working well, and where you might want more visibility. The feedback that you give us will help directly shape how we continue to refine the dashboard and build others, some standard, and hopefully we'll have some custom add-ons as well.
I think it's also important to just mention that looking ahead, we'll continue to offer both product enhancements and new features that everyone receives as part of ongoing releases, as well as new modules that you can choose to add to your Medaptus tech stack. And those are things that deliver functionality beyond the core platform. One of those new modules is already in development and is built to help solve for what happens after assignments are completed each day. So I just want to expand on that a little bit and say, we've heard from many of you that beyond having Assign update your EHR with the attending, distributing the full picture assignment details at once is part of your morning workflow, but in its current state, it's manual and time consuming. So this new module will compile that information so that the data can be shared more efficiently and providers have that visibility into program-wide assignments, helping promote equity and transparency across your teams. So that's just to kind of give you a teaser there. Hopefully you're interested, and please share your feedback on that as well. Now we'll move into our Q&A. We've got a few here that I want to ask Jacqueline, and if we don't cover your question, we will reach out to you and answer it separate to this webinar. So before we go into Q&A though, I just kind of want to repeat myself. I think it's important to hear things more than once. Again, this release marks a really important next step for us, expanding what Assign can offer beyond the morning assignment and starting to surface those meaningful program-wide insights. Because we are the only dedicated assignment solution in the marketplace, we are excited to continue evolving based on your needs and feedback. And we're really looking forward to seeing how this dashboard helps your teams on a day-to-day basis and continuing to build on this foundation together. So for our first question, Jacqueline, where you see the dashboard going next, what excites you the most about what's possible from here?
Yeah, I think what's exciting is how much opportunity we have to build on this foundation using the data that we already have inside of Assign. We can start to add more dashboard features. We're already looking at some possibilities for like a phase 2, more dynamic visuals. We're hoping to do some customizable reports, obviously more charts and graphs because we do love a good visual.
Thanks for that. It's so true. Dashboards can really help hospitalist programs recognize the patterns that point to where processes or workflows could improve. So it really is a chance to take what you've learned and implement it on a practical basis. There's also a question about that next module that I mentioned, the one that focuses on what happens after assignments are complete. Can you share a little bit more about how that connects to today's release?
Sure. So the dashboard, the hospital medicine dashboard that we're releasing today, that provides a broader, more high-level view of the assignment process. It helps teams understand patterns and overall impact of how assignments are being made. Those insights can inform like adjustments to scheduling practices and staffing models over time. The upcoming module, the daily assignment summary, builds on that by addressing what happens once assignments are finalized each day. So it's designed to streamline the steps that come after making the assignments. So making it easier to distribute that information and share those completed assignments without the manual work that exists in most people's workflows today.
Thanks, Jacqueline. I'll just ask one more. You're only on the hot seat for a few more minutes here. From your perspective, what do you think will make the biggest difference for customers using this dashboard?
Um, I think it's all about context. So much of the assignment management is focused on the day-to-day, like reacting to what's happening right now, and keeping things running smoothly. This dashboard helps teams kind of step back and see the bigger picture. So like where workloads might be uneven, how the volumes are shifting, how continuity looks across the team. That broader view makes it easier to spot trends and make small data-driven changes that overall will strengthen the operation and support workload equity over time.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Okay, well, it looks like we kind of gave you back 6 minutes. We thank you all for joining today and for continuing to partner with us as we build this out. We will be knocking on your doors. If we missed any of your questions in the chat, we'll follow up directly with you after the session, and look forward to hearing your feedback both in the chat following this and as we have future conversations. So thanks everyone for your time. Looking forward to connecting in the future.